Welcome to Always Analog, where we celebrate the beauty of analog technology in the digital world. Today, let's go bowling with pencils. So I want to give a shout out to my buddy moving about and manipulating objects, MAMO, who has a wonderful YouTube channel as well, where he does pencil reviews as well as reviews of hymnals and Bibles and transistor radios and all kinds of other wonderful things. But we are kindred spirits when it comes to pencils, and he sent me a number of pencils, including some that are bowling pencils. And then I had a couple bowling pencils of my own. So I kind of put them together here and wanted to do a review of these vintage bowling pencils, although one of them is new, which is the Big Boy Bowler here. But let's look at the vintage ones first. So anyways, thank you again, MAMO. I really do appreciate you sharing these with me. And bowling was always such a part of my life growing up in Detroit and as a kid. And so I just, these pencils bring back so many great memories. And I just remember being at the bowling alley and always could hear that pencil sharpener going at the front desk, because they had a box filled with these pencils, and when you came in, they would tear you off a score sheet from a big pad and give you a pencil, if there wasn't one at the alley when you got there, so that you could keep score. Anyways, let's look at them. Here's one, bowling 10-pin bowl, Route 5, South Windsor, Connecticut. Butler 9, 5603. 40 AMF automatic machines. Free parking, no problem. Well, there you go. And this is a big, fat, thick pencil. I mean, this is Jumbo Plus. This is really a big pencil. This is one of the largest round pencils I've seen, period. And the 10-pin bowl in South Windsor, Connecticut, really got their money's worth on those pencils. Then here's one called a Bola Score. He gave me a couple of these, and these are by Blaisdell. And so obviously this is just their bowling pencil that they made for bowling alleys. You know, there was a time in the after World War II where there were just in bowling alleys everywhere. Bowling was such a big recreation for people. There were so many bowling leagues and bowling clubs, and now many bowling alleys have closed because people don't bowl anymore, because I don't know, everyone's sitting around watching YouTube or on their computer, or they don't want to whatever. But bowling was a big social thing. But so I'm sure there was a big market from the pencil companies to make bowling pencils. This one's a little hard to see with the light, but it says Bloomfield Bowling Center, Chapel 2, 7784, the best in 10-pin bowling. So, there you go. There's also 5-pin bowling, by the way, which is popular in certain areas. Here's one that I had. By the way, these are all round, the ones from MAMO, thank you. The one that I had is, here's one, probably something I took home years ago. Bowling Proprietors Association of Michigan. Bowling is family fun. And it is a standard-sized pencil, hexagonal, so it doesn't roll around. Although the tables that they would have on the alleys when they had them would have like this little clip that you would clip your score sheet to, and there was a little groove in it. So the pencils, even if they were round, sort of stayed in place there. But here's an old one. And then here's one that I got recently, and I got it directly from General Pencil in Jersey City, New Jersey, is their Big Boy Bowler. And so this is a jumbo hex pencil with a big core and designed for keeping a bowling score. So what I'd like to do first, maybe, is just do a little writing with these pencils. Again, they were designed not for writing per se. I mean, for writing, but not for keeping score, for writing numbers on a score sheet. So I'm going to start with this big one. You know, this is so large to hold. But, you know, and look at the size of that core. Look at the size of it. This is the 10-pin bowl. Where was this? South Windsor, Connecticut. Yeah. Fairly smooth. Dark. Nice. Here's the Bola Score by Blaisdell. Also, listen to how quiet that is. That is a smooth pencil. And then we have the Bloomfield Bowling Center, wherever that was. I guess in Bloomfield somewhere. There's a Bloomfield, Michigan. There's probably a lot of Bloomfields around. This is a little bit of a harder core, I can tell. It's got a little bit more scratch to it. Also, big round pencil. Well, I guess almost the same size as this 10-pin bowl. So maybe these are from the same manufacturer. I mean, look at the size of those cores. And then here's the Bowling Proprietors Association. Of Michigan. So it'll tell you how many bowling alleys, whoop, I guess you can't see that. Tells you how many bowling alleys were in Michigan. They had their own Bowling Proprietors Association. And then finally the General's Big Boy, love that name, Bowler. This one is probably, the Generals is probably the roughest of them all. But still writes, you know, big core, fairly smooth. All right, now let's do a little scoring. Okay, well, we've got our bowling score sheet here, and not to sound like the old guy that I am, but back in my day, you had to keep bowling scores manually on a piece of paper with a pencil. You'll notice there are no erasers on these pencils because they didn't want you erasing any scores once you wrote them down. So you had to know two things. One, you had to understand how many pins went down, and you had to know math. Now they have machines that tell you everything and do everything for you. We can debate whether or not that's a good thing or not. I think it probably keeps people honest in some ways, but in other ways, it's too bad because what did we learn math for anyways? And it was, you know, someone was a scorekeeper or people took turns keeping score. It was a role that one would play. It was part of going bowling. So, anyways, let's have an imaginary game, and let's see. We're gonna say, there's me, and since he was kind enough to send me the pencils, we'll have moving about and manipulating objects. We'll have MAMO and me on the alley at the analog luxury lanes. And so I'm just going to start, and I'm just going to make it up as we go along so you can follow. I loved bowling. That doesn't mean I was a good bowler. Let's be clear about that. But I did. Bowling's fun. It's just a fun thing to do with a group of people. Okay, so here we go. Let's see. And I'm going to try using the different pencils as we go. So, you know, you throw 2 balls for each frame. There's 10 frames in the game. You throw 2 balls unless you get a strike on your first throw, which means all 10 pins went down. Otherwise, you get two throws. So we'll say 7 and 2. That would give me 9 in the first frame. And let's say, MAMO, you got an 8 and a 1. So I didn't quite make the spare. So we're both tied right now at 9. My next frame, I threw a 9, and then I got a spare. So this line indicates a spare, so I knocked down all 10 pins. We leave this blank for now. MAMO, you got a strike in the second frame, so good for you. Okay. So, spare, strike. Switch pencils. Here we go. Let's try the bowler score. So in the next frame, I threw an 8. So, when you have a spare, you get your 10 pins plus your first throw added here. So that's 9 plus 10 is 19, plus 8 gives me 27. And then I didn't make the spare. I only knocked down 1 pin, 9 pins. So then that takes me to 36. So MAMO, you threw a 6. You got a bad split. 2 pins on either side. When you put a circle around there, that indicates a split. And then we're going to say you got 2 of the 4 remaining pins on your next throw. So when you have a strike, it is your 10 plus both throws from your next frame. So you've got 10, so that's 19, and then you've got another 8. So 19 and 8 is 27. And then we've got 27 plus 8 is 35. There we go. Not hard to do in your head if you have your basic math down. Okay. What did I do? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna do a strike. I'd like to have a strike. And then we will say, MAMO, give you a 9, and then you got that spare, so good for you. Okay, let's switch pencils to the Bloomfield Bowling Center pencil and see how we do. So now it's all about the 5th frame now, and because I have a strike, I want to get as many pins as possible in the 5th frame. So I threw a 6, not a split, and I did make my spare. So good for me. So I get 10 plus 10 is 20, so that gives me 56 here. And then we'll say, MAMO, you are on a streak. You got a strike. So 10 and 10, that gives you 55. Okay, so what do? Oh gosh, I threw a bad ball. This happens. I only got 3, and then I was able to recover a little bit, and I got 5. So I get my 10 from this frame plus 3 is 13. So that's, I got a 69. And then I've got 8 to that. That gives me 77. All right, MAMO, what are you going to do? Well, gee, let's see. We'll say you got a 8 and a 1, so you got 9. So we're going to add 55 and 10 is 65, and then you're going to get 9, so that takes you to 74, and then 74 and another 9 from that frame will take you up to 83. Okay. Oh, let's see. Then let's see, we gotta get things going here. So I'm gonna say 9 and a spare, and MAMO's gonna get a strike there, and then I'm gonna do a 8 and a 1. So that gives me 10. That's 87 plus 8 is 96, and 96 and 9 is 105. Hot diggity, I'm in triple digits. And what is MAMO going to do? He's going to throw another strike. You are on a streak, my friend. So what that means is you get 20 points. You get this 10 and then this 10 added. So you are at right here 103. We got to see what happens in the 9th frame. Now I'm going to get a strike. Good for me. And then you are going to throw a 7 and a 2. So you get 103 and 10 is 113, and 113 and 9 is 122. Okay, last frame. Oh, and then, hold on, I'm sorry, and then 9 again. Now you're at 131. Okay, our final pencil. We're going to finish with our big boy bowler here. So what goes on here in the 10th frame, I'm going to do a 7. I'm going to make my spare. So now I got 10. So in the 10th frame, you get 3 throws if you knock them all down either with a strike or a spare. So I get a 3rd throw, and I'm going to take out 8 in that last throw. So this gives me 10, and then it gives me another 10 here, and it gives me the 8. So I have 105, 115, 125, 133, and then here I get the 10 and 18, so that is 151 is my score. What about MAMO? He's going to do a strike, and then he's going to throw a 7 and a 2. So he's going to get 10 to that is 141, and then he's going to get another 9. 141 and 9 is 150. Pretty good game, as luck would have it. Okay, thank you. Thank you, MAMO, for the wonderful pencils. Love them. Takes me back in time. And go bowling, everybody. And you know what? If they let you keep score by hand, ask them for a score sheet and a pencil. Okay, thanks for playing along, and I'll look forward to seeing you again soon here on Always Analog.